Hi guys, we're at day number 23 of our 28 days April Spring Clean Challenge, and welcome to day number 23. Today we're going to be working on our floors, and if you haven't looked already, I have a video on what I call my cleaning boyfriend. It is the mop system, it is Norwex, we just use water, it is good for all floor types. I happen to have tile and it works beautifully, but it also works really great for hardwood floors, laminate, ceramic, tile, linoleum, whatever flooring you happen to have, you can utilize the Norwex mop system. I'm just gonna briefly go through the Norwex mop system, but if you want a more in-depth video, I do have one on my YouTube channel, so make sure to check that out. It also has some tips and tricks. But just quickly, it comes with the telescopic handle. It works kind of like a tension rod. You can go really low if you're short. It can go really high if you're tall, or if your husband happens to help out with the chores. Mine does, and he loves the system. The mop system also comes with the base. I hook a little 3M hook on there, and I'm gonna show you why tomorrow when we do our baseboards. I almost always have a chenille mop pad on mine so it can pick up the hair and the crumbs, because we always have crumbs. There's so much crumbs in our house. I'll even show you under the kids' table. I don't care if they're having soup, somehow there's crumbs. I use mine at about chin height, a little bit lower than chin, I guess. I'm right about there. The mop system comes with two mop pads, a wet and a dry. So you're gonna use the dry like sweeping, and then the wet, we're just gonna use it damp. Or sometimes I'll even just spray the floor and then wipe it up with the wet pad using it dry. And I will tell you from experience, the wet pad absorbs a whole bottle of wine. Not even kidding. I've also been able to pick up about a half a gallon with the mop pad, so they're super absorbent, and just like our EnviroCloth, they're able to pick up and remove up to 99% bacteria when used for and cared for properly. It contains that backlock technology as well, so it prohibits the growth of any mold, mildew, and bacteria. It self-purifies as it dries, so all you have to do is, once you're done cleaning your floors, rinse it out really well, rub it on itself under that hot water, wring it out really well, hang it up to dry. They all have a tag, and while it dries, that microsilver goes to work and it self-purifies the pad for you. Depending on how often you're using the pads, that's going to determine how often you have to wash them. But I usually only throw my mop pads in the wash once every month, and I actually use the mop system quite often. It's probably one of my favorite things about the mop system is I actually use it. It's so easy to use, it's ergonomic, I'm not hurting my back, I'm not being wasteful with disposable pads. It's all reusable, sustainable, amazing. There are some other options for you as well, like the chenille pad that I almost always have on. This guy here. This is an additional mop pad that is available for purchase. Along with, we have a tile mop pad. This one does not have that backlock technology, but it does a lot more of the scrubbing for me. And then we also have a window pad available as well. If you have like a high gloss flooring, this is gonna be your best friend. It's gonna shine and polish and dry your floor really fast. Or if you're like me and you have a bunch of little ones running around, while the water does dry really quickly, I usually don't have to quarantine a room off, but if I have them at my feet or if they're helping me with their own mop, yes, I have to. Actually, I have 3 mops. They like to help me mop. So if I want the floor to dry even faster, it's just water, so it dries really quickly on its own. But if I need the extra help, I will throw on the window pad to dry and polish the floor. Okay, so this is really the only tool that I'm going to be using today, other than probably a netted dishcloth. When I do the dry pad, it's taking the place of your sweeping. I don't own a broom anymore or a dusting pan. I used to hate dusting pans. So what I do now is I'll go around And I'll probably, since our floors are really bad right now, I'll probably go around once with the chenille pad. I'll gather up as much of the big crumbs as I possibly can, and I'm gonna be scooping them up with the netted dishcloth. For some reason, the netted dishcloth really just like picks up everything really nicely. You can also use a kitchen towel or a kitchen cloth. You can also use a counter cloth. All of them are really great for crumbs, but for this purpose, for some reason, the netted dishcloth seems to work the best for me. After I'm done with the chenille mop pad, I'm gonna be using the dry mop pad and just doing another once over. A lot of people think that the mop pad works so well that you don't have any crumbs or trail left over, but you do. It's not a vacuum system. So you're gonna have some crumbs and some dirt left on the leading edge. Now when you use the mop system, you wanna make sure that you're putting a little bit of pressure on the lower hand as well as the top hand. This little ball here is really cool. Check out that other video for some tips and tricks on using the ball. But you're gonna be using a figure 8 motion toward yourself. You're gonna have a trail left over on that leading edge. Just use one of your cloths, or like I use the netted dishcloth, to pick up whatever is left over. I like to kind of make one big pile that I kind of scoop everything over into. So once I'm done with the dry mop pad, then I'm going to be using the tile mop pad. It's going to allow me to clean the floor with a little extra scrubby power. It's been a while. I've been kind of neglecting the floors because I knew that today was coming up. So I need a little extra help today, so I'm going to be pulling out the tile mop pad. Then after I'm done with that, it seems like a lot, but usually I just use the 2 mop pads. Like once every 2 weeks I'll do like the full thing, but since today is our April Spring Clean Challenge, I'm kind of doing it all. Once we're done with the tile pad, then I'm going to be using the wet mop pad, and the way that I like to use it is I use a little bit of diluted laundry detergent in our spray bottle. I'll spray the floor and then I'll mop up that section, and I'll keep working through sections. It's just easier that way with me and the kids running around. But what I absolutely love about this system is I don't have to quarantine off an entire room and wait for chemicals to dry and then worry about food being spilled on the floor, because inevitably they always eat it. So since we're using just water to really get a deep clean, I don't have to worry about the baby eating the food off the floor, or our 3-year-old that pretends like she's a dog. Okay, so I have a lot of work today. I am feeling exhausted. This has been a very long month of lots of cleaning, lots of kid distracting, but the floors really need to get done, and today is the day, so let's get to it. This may take a little longer than expected. Is just from our dining room / kitchen. That's what 3 kids is almost every day too. I'm gonna use the netted dishcloth to pick that all up. Check it out. So this is what I'm left with after the dry mop pad and after the chenille. The chenille is going to pick up your bigger particles, and then the dry mop pad is going to pick up the smaller stuff. And after I was done with the chenille pad and when I was done with the dry pad, I used the rubber brush to brush off as much as I possibly could with those. Then I'm going to hang those up and I can use those again and again before I have to wash them. So now I'm going to go to the tile mop pad. I'm going to get that wet and then wring it out really well because we're just going to use it damp and go around the more high traffic areas, the spots where I know need a little bit extra scrubbing. We have some mysterious sticky spots. So I'm going to get those with the wet tile pad, and then we're going to move on to the normal wet mop pad. And if you notice, I'm only doing the dining room and kitchen right now. Once I'm done with this whole area, I'm going to try to move into the walkway from the front entrance and the hallway. And that's really all the tile that we have. These kids today are being crazy, just downright nuts. So I don't know if I'm gonna get the rest of it done with them awake. I may have to do it later on tonight, but that's gonna be too late for the video. So you may only see me doing this whole portion, but that's also why I'm doing kind of the whole thing in this area to show you all of the mop pads. So over half of the footage that I thought that I was recording didn't actually capture because somebody pushed a button on my phone while it was recording while I wasn't looking. So I don't have much footage to show you guys other than a dirty, wet mop pad. This is just from the dining room / kitchen area. Kind of hard to tell that it's super dirty, but it is. So while I don't have much to show you in the way of a time lapse because of this, while I don't have the energy today to dance with my boyfriend, here's a fun little video that I did do.
If you know what happiness is to you, because I'm happy, I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do, bring me down, can't nothing, bring me.
But before we say goodbye, I do want to show you the water from the mop pads. Okay, so while I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted to today, it is satisfying seeing the water from the wet mop pad, knowing that I did really clean the floor, even though it felt like it was just a circus. Okay, but let's check out the satisfying water. That is just from our dining room / kitchen area, just one area. We picked up a lot of gunk, so gross. And I'm gonna pick up the rest of the dry mopping and wet mopping tomorrow while I do the baseboards in the hallway, because tomorrow is all about our baseboards. And you guys, we don't have to get on our hands and knees to clean them. There's a better way. Can you say Norwex? Ooh, you said Norwex. You're lucky you're cute. Yeah. Outside. Make sure that you're taking a photo no matter how much you got done today and post it over in that VIP group. Outside. You're saying that very well. Yeah. Outside. Okay, we'll go play now. Sometimes you just gotta do what you can and forget about perfection. It's about progress, right? Make sure you're taking a look at the full calendar. We only have a couple days left. We have our baseboards, our walls, and then our windows, and then we're done. All right, time for me to go, but I'll be back tomorrow. Take care.